I'm Doris Holland. My son Jamie is going to be 21 in a couple weeks. He's been in the Wilmette School District in special ed, has a brain malformation which causes like constant seizure activity for him, and it also causes a lot of muscle weakness. He has severe developmental delays. He's not able to maneuver too well. He has trouble with like fine motor control and gross motor control. His seizures, he's very sensitive to meds, so a lot of times he has to stay with brand names, which then insurance won't cover.
Hi, we're the Chiba family. I'm Kathy, this is Juan. These are our 4 kids. Our 2 youngest were preemie twins that were born 3.5 months early. And we get respite services for them to help us take care of them on a day-to-day basis. Without it, we would have no extra. For a lot of families like us, we can't afford a babysitter anymore. We can't afford much of anything with medical bills. And even though we have private insurance, the out-of-pocket expenses are really high.
I cannot leave him by himself. He'll fall. He just can't.
When they were about 6 months old, I thought that they were blind. So I took them to a vision specialist, and he said that they'll be blind, they'll never see, and that there was something genetically wrong with them, and to go see a geneticist. Had about 10 specialists, just quickly added up from there. They weren't able to probably see until they were 2. They had cortical vision impairment, so it affected their brain. And, things just, as they got older, they had more ailments. They're still undiagnosed at this point, which creates an issue with therapy and funding and, doctor's appointments and medical. At this point, all we know is that they have oral, visual, and motor apraxia, sensory processing disorder, mild dysplasia, mild dysgenesis, and partial agenesis of the corpus callosum, cortical vision impairment, hypotonia. Josie has seizures. Nico just had eye surgery. They technically have autism. They technically have cerebral palsy. They technically have all these things that don't add up, and none of them actually make sense. We're not going to be able to provide for these kids. They need, the medical things come unplanned, and the planned ones you can barely afford, and then we always have thousands of dollars of the unplanned things. It's all trial and error drugs. There's not an easy answer to any of it. It's not just cut and dry. Glenkirk were able to have an extra hand for the safety. Josie's, she's fallen down the stairs. She's had seizures where she's turned blue. Nico's eaten foreign objects. And
do you know about Rauner's budget plan for the FY16 budget?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very scary.
I'm not sure what it's all encompassing. I know respite care would be very big because I do use a lot of respite care from Glenkirk. They'll do things like pick him up and take him to Special Olympics.
When I heard that the program might be cut, of course I was so worried. It's something we rely on, especially to get through the summer when my big kids aren't in school, and to still take my kids to all their appointments that they need. That's right. And Santi loves his respite workers.
In a lot of ways, he's just like a normal teenager. It's not cool, for mom or dad to be taking him to activities of school and stuff like that, hanging around. It's a lot cooler if a friend takes him. If someone who he considers more of a peer, a respite worker comes in, he'll go along with it.
She desperately wants to do all those things that her peers are doing, but she, and it frustrates her that she knows she can't, and so she's very excited. She tells everyone. I tell everyone I'm on a soccer team, Mom. We had to leave the city because before we were in CBS preschool, we were placed in a preschool in our neighborhood, and they literally just strapped Josie down to a chair and stuck her in the corner because they didn't have enough staff to manage the kids. They had them pulled out and put into a better preschool. But then once our preschool was done, there wasn't a lot of options as far as placements considered for them. We scraped together everything we could, and we moved to Northbrook, where there was a district where the funding could handle them. You'll do anything for your kids to help them survive and help them thrive, but you can't if you don't have the monetary ability to do it. It's already affecting us, just the fear of it. I have friends who, because they can't, of this fear, now they're looking into putting their 7-year-olds in homes because they can't afford to keep them at home. And it's breaking their heart, it's breaking their family apart. There's scary, scary stuff going on because of just the threat of it.
I'm figuring all of the taxes that I have paid into the system. And I don't mind helping out, you know, those who are less fortunate. I figure that's what we do as a nation and as a society.